Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. Employers and their employees are increasingly being challenged by policies and actions with free speech rights in the current political and social climate, and especially when social media is used in the workplace. There are headlines on the topic such as this one from Employers Council. Do employees have free speech rights in the workplace? Or this headline from USA Today this month: can freedom of speech get you in hot water when it comes to company values? My guest has experience with this topic and will comment, but first, take a look at this statement posted online by Forbes Human Resources Council in October. What freedom of speech really means. Private sector employees often believe they have the protected right to post anything online, no harm, no foul. In truth, the First Amendment restricts the government from limiting citizens' right to express opinions, even if those opinions are unpopular, offensive, or controversial. It doesn't give anyone blanket immunity from the consequences of what they say in other arenas, especially in the workplace. And that leads me to introduce our guest, James Reedy, co-chair of the Labor and Employment Group at the Sheehan Finney Law Firm with offices in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Massachusetts, and whose practice includes this issue. Jim, welcome.
Thanks so much.
This can be a complicated issue, as you well know, given state and federal laws in addition to the First Amendment, and given the public or private employee relationship, and given the atmosphere in which we're living right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there too, but the bottom line is, as you just said, Fred, the First Amendment does not apply to the private sector workplace, meaning that there could be consequences for what the employee says in public or says through a social media post.
So the employer can regulate speech in the workplace in certain circumstances.
Right, with certain noted exceptions, as long as it doesn't violate federal law, discrimination, workplace safety, terms and conditions under the National Labor Relations Act, or state law for that matter.
Well, the rule for public employees is different?
A little bit different. It depends upon whether or not the person is speaking in their official capacity or as a private citizen, as a matter of public concern. If it's in their official capacity, no protection under the First Amendment. But there may be some protection, like in New Hampshire, under state law.
Do we in New Hampshire have a protection of free speech in the law?
With regard to public sector employers, yes. Not with regard to private sector employers.
Okay. Now, we didn't have a social media. We didn't have social media when the First Amendment was crafted. That goes without saying. In your experience with climates, when there are words spoken or words written in some of the cases that you handle with clients, how often does social media get involved?
Gosh, we see them all the time, because what people post or what statements they make could be relevant to the case, and especially when it somehow affects the workplace. Like I said, discrimination issues, releasing confidential company information, disparaging clients, making false statements, and so on.
Right. Give some examples that come to mind of free speech in the workplace.
And how an employer could respond.
Or outside the workplace.
Sure.
But related to the workplace.
Right. There was an example in 2017 of a woman riding her bike and happened to go by the presidential motorcade and made an offensive gesture. That was captured, and her employer identified her and terminated her. She challenged it, and they said, not protected by free speech. A PR executive making a racist tweet. Mm-hmm. An employee putting a social media post out, and her exception to being disciplined was she said it was my private social media post, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. But someone who received it shared it with the employer.
Yeah. Let's put up a graphic, the best practices for employers, and you can see them understanding the law, which is good, and possible restrictions on employee speech, adopting and promoting professional conduct policies, adopting compliant social media policies, having effective employee compliant procedures, and promoting civility top down. Which one of those you want to focus on because is most important?
Well, I guess the most important is making it clear to your employees what the expectations, the conduct expectations are, and what the consequences could be for running afoul of those expectations.
Yeah. Jim Reedy, co-chair of the Labor and Employment Practice at Sheehan Finney Bass & Green. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you missed part of this and want to go back and look at it, because this is an interesting subject, where it will be posted all this week. And the AI frontier is probably next for free speech.